Welcome to WAANA Medical College Alumni Association for North America. Uh, the goal of today's session is basically we're going to go over our goals for the future, what we should be doing, and what are we expecting from you guys, or how I can help you in the system here, and how we can come up with a model that will benefit you. So it seems like all of you are interested in USMLE journey, which is a very good thing. You might gonna hear a lot of things about visas getting denial and things like that, or a couple of hurdles in the process. So we're gonna overcome that, and we will help you in all that process for you. So a couple of goals I would like to mention that will be our weekly or monthly goals. I hope you guys can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so we can have dedicated guidance for the USMLE Step 1, CK, and Step 3. So what do I mean by that? That will be basically we're going to have dedicated posts about application. Okay. And then so posts about application process, and then we will have dedicated sessions for basically planning your preparation. And then after that, we're going to have a few more important things. We are trying to come up with the system where I've been tutoring for USMLE for almost 6 years. And then I stopped because of my busy schedule in the hospital. So, but I'm trying to build a system where I can give you the most high yield content of the exam, and you guys can practice that at the end when you take your NBMEs, so that you can raise your score at least 20 points. And those 20 points matter the most. Right now, the average score of the Step 2 CK, I think it's somewhat around like 240 or 245, or maybe it already hit 250s. So people are scoring a lot. Step 1 is just pass or fail. So that's not a big deal. I think it's very doable exam. Now it's more easy as compared to the past when it was a 3-digit score. But the CK score matters a lot for everybody. And it does not matter just for residencies. It matters even if you apply for fellowship. So when you apply for cardiology fellowship, you're gonna have all this. So give me just 1 second, okay? So for your fellowship also, CK score matters a lot. And Step 3 score, yes, Step 3 score matters also. And Step 3 score should be reasonable. Right now, the average score is increasing with, like, as every month, the average is going up because there is more resources. People are more familiar with the process about the preparation also. So there's more NBMEs to practice, more questions to practice. So we will guide you for all of these steps, and we will have dedicated members who took their Step 1 or CK or Step 3 recently, and who will tell you the helpful resources. And I have members who scored 275 on the Step 2 CK exam, and I personally spoke to them how they got such a high score. I know people who got 285 on their Step 2 CK exam. So we're gonna do every possible effort to raise your score, because score does matter, especially the Step 2 CK score matters a lot nowadays. So our next plan will be, so like I said, our second plan will be dedicated high yield content. So I'm trying to come up with the system where this content will just stay within the circle of WMC, within our alumni. So I'm trying to see what will be the ideal and the safest pathway where we can share the high yield content with you guys. So, but we'll update you on this, okay? Next one will be free access to the research and statistical courses. So in order to build your CV, I will give you free access to the research and statistical courses. That's my next plan. And I know most of you will be new to the research, but the sooner you do it, the better it will be on your CV, because nowadays for match process, CV matters more than the score, because the only score matters is CK score, and everyone is getting at least 250s. So your CV, including your US clinical experience, matters a lot, and your research and how many papers you have published. So we will talk a lot about how we will be helping the young physicians about increasing or making their CV better. So I have dedicated statistical videos for stats learning for research. That's point number 4. So every week I make at least 2 to 3 videos and I put it on the YouTube. I think it's beneficial for all of you to join my company's page also, if you like to, because the videos are free. And I post them on that company's page and also on the YouTube page. So feel free to subscribe YouTube and the Facebook also. So that's our agenda number 4. Agenda number 5 will be free access to meta-analysis and systematic review courses and videos. So I have a dedicated courses and the videos for meta-analysis. And let me put those here. Sorry, give me 1 second. So I'm gonna post this here on the bottom. So this is a post from my WhatsApp group for the research. I'm not taking more members right now onto my research group because I already have so many members. But these are the courses which are very, very helpful for your learning. And these links are open links. So you can open them and follow the stepwise process. So if you want to learn about research, I want you to follow from step 1 to step 16. And once you follow these, you will learn a lot about how to conduct systematic review and how to do the meta-analysis. And the best learning is when I started research, I started from writing case reports because it helped me how to put the references, citations, how to write introduction discussions, how to basically organize the format of the case report. After writing the case report, I progressed to the systematic reviews and narrative reviews. Narrative reviews is a beautiful summary. So these links gonna help you with everything. So you can skip this part. So you don't have to attend my Saturday meetings for 6 p.m. if you're not part of my WhatsApp research group. And if I have availability, I'll update you in future once I'm taking more people into my group. So, so that's agenda number 6. Follow the links posted below. You can skip section. 13, section 13. All closed links. Okay. So our agenda number 6 will be in the future to help with the accommodation and guidance for the condition. So if any one of you coming to the United States for the first time, feel free to approach me because I'm living here for the last 9 years, 8 or 9 years almost. I know about the process. I know about the environment. I can help you um, how you can save money, how you can survive in a low budget, where you should be spending, how you should be spending. Because initially, when you come to the United States, you might gonna go on Uber for everything, and Uber might be very expensive for you. It might gonna cost you $30, $40 for each trip. So I can guide you about different things and logistics like that. Some institutes like you to have insurance also, traveler's insurance. So, or sometimes visa requires you to have traveler's insurance. I remember when I came to the United States, I bought my insurance through insubuy.com, and that was like 30 or 40 bucks. So, so things like that, which no one else gonna tell you, I'm happy to tell you. So you just need to ask. Okay, that will be our next agenda. And even I think before that, when you apply for visa process, right? So dedicated help for visa application and guidance. And then it will be about mock interviews, mock interview videos for B1/B2/J1 visa process. So I will give you the mock interviews or videos on that, how you can basically do the best in the visa process. Okay, most of the visas get rejected because applicants fail to show the applicants fail to show that they don't have immigration intent. So if you're coming to the US for the first time and your visa officer asks you like for how long you're going there, and you're like, I don't know, things like that, then obviously he's gonna reject your visa. Because you gotta tell something like US, mostly visa officers, they want answer yes or no, or to the point answer. If you tell this person straightforward that I'm going there for 2 weeks just to take my USMLE exam, and then coming back because I got a 2 weeks off from my work and I need to report back to my job, then obviously he's gonna approve your visa, right? So these things may sound very simple, but these are important things. So we will guide you about what mistakes people usually make and what you should be doing when you go for the visa interviews. Okay, so our next agenda will be to help you with the abstracts, help with abstract presentation. Help with the abstract presentation and application of travel grants from National Research Meeting so that you can travel on these travel grants, okay? There's a lot of grants, early career grants from American Heart Association, for example, right? So we will guide you how to apply for those. So next process will be the most important thing, guidance about the externships and observerships. So this is the tricky part. So guidance, we will guide you about the externship and the observerships. But can we arrange observership and externships for everybody? Technically, we cannot, because let's suppose I'm approaching, say, one physician for like 20 people. He might be able to accept only one person, but he might not be able to accept 20 people, right? So there's a limit for everything. There is a GME rules also. Guidance about GME rules. Guidance about vaccination process needed for onboarding, insurance, liability insurance, right? So a lot of time people are not aware about what liability insurance to buy when you're external or external. Okay. So on this externship, observership, as I work with a lot of physicians, obviously, so it's okay if you get like the clinic-based rotations initially, it's fine. Just get into the system. Initially, like for 3 months, you're doing clinic-based rotation, it's fine, because you're gonna have something on your CV. When you have some sort of US experience in your CV, then it's easier to find a hospital-based externships. So the biggest mistake mostly people make is they just aim high from the day one, and that's not the way to go. You're gonna go slowly up the ladder. So for example, initially you will get a clinic-based rotations, then you're gonna get a hospital-based rotation, then you're gonna get a rotation in the residency programs because you already have a bunch of experience, and then you're gonna get a research. Initially, you might get an unpaid research, and then eventually you're gonna get a paid research. So, but if you're aiming for paid research from the beginning, you might not gonna get it unless you have tons of publications, or unless you have a lot of experience, or unless you're beneficial to that physician who's conducting the clinical trials, or who has the funding. Obviously, your pay for the research assistant is coming from the funding of his project. So if you're not beneficial to the project, obviously those physicians will not pay you. So there's a lot of 1-year postdoc fellowships, so that we will guide you for. Guidance about postdoc fellowship, especially to the students who are working in my research group, as they will have enough experience. That's our agenda number 10. And a couple of more things. So assistance about, let's suppose you wrote an article by yourself and you want some assistance with editing and all that. Assistance for article editing. So we will do that for you, or we will guide you. Publishing and journal formatting and publishing. And okay, so next agenda will be in future. I mean, it's too early to even say that, but I'm gonna say it regardless. So in future, obviously, I have 2 more years of training left in the field of interventional cardiology. And once I'm going to be done, my vision is that I'm going to have different houses in different states, and we'll be doing something similar to the WAANA association, but we will do our own association. We will subsidize the housing for you guys. The biggest problem right now for our alumni is there's not a lot of people in the US yet. There's might be 40 or 50 people of the entire WMC. And how active are they? Not a lot of them are active. So, but they're willing to help. Yes, I will say 80–90%, or most of them are willing to help once somebody approaches them. But we'll try our best to connect everybody and to maintain a collegiality and to make sure that people work with each other and they grow. So that will be our biggest role. And people who are applying for match process, we will give mock interviews for free. First statement editing / guidance, AWS CV editing / guidance, selection of programs for application, and mock interviews. And then guidance about follow-up emails, which are very important during the match process. That will be your next agenda. Okay, so yes, one important thing which I forgot. So here our agenda number 14 will be. So our agenda number 14 going to be free CME credits and monthly scholarly activities / lectures to enhance your clinical and research knowledge. Okay. Okay. And 15 is basically I spoke to Dean also, and I spoke to principal also. We are coming up with the model where let's suppose someone who is in 4th year, final year, they're heading towards graduation. We will come up with the model where we're going to have a medical jeopardy. Will be introduced, and I'll explain that in a moment. Okay. So I will have dedicated team who will make the Jeopardy questions. Okay. So the Jeopardy will be, so Jeopardy is just like a game, right? So there will be different sections like we're going to have in the medical Jeopardy, and each section going to have some kind of like random money numbers or something. It's just like, just like the TV shows which you see, like Kaun Banega Crorepati or those kind of TV shows. So here what we have is like we have similar thing, medical jeopardy in the residency and the fellowship programs where doctors from different programs they compete in that jeopardy, and it's very like intellectual. It has obviously the medical questions and the answers in the flashcard format, and we will develop that for you. Obviously, it will take some time, but once we're going to have our medical jeopardy section complete, and this jeopardy system mainly gonna inculcate the clinical aspect and your professional exam questions, and main focus will be USMLE questions. So it will prepare you well. So that's our agenda for the WMC WAANA section. So now I will open the portal so you guys can ask me questions, and I'm going to share this document with you also in the group. Can you hear me? Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine and clear.
So you can ask me questions so that I hope this agenda makes sense to all of you. And Just trying to see if there are more people waiting. All right, if you guys have any questions, you can always send me a text on the WhatsApp, or you can always email me. I'm going to share my email here. That was, yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to ask something. Do you think doing a house job in Pakistan would be beneficial to this process, the USMLE process, or getting the license in the US? Also, what do you think is a realistic timeline for someone to go from Pakistan and to be like to match into a residency program?
So there's no realistic timeline. I mean, it all comes down to the personal level. There are people who took their step 1 in 4th year and then CK in final year, and then without even doing house job, they just come to the United States. So there are people who want to do house job. So let me tell you my experience. So I did house job because you never know at the end of the day, if some mishap happened, and then you don't want to go back home and just start from house job, that's difficult then. So it's good to have some kind of backup. So it's good to do the house job, I recommend. And I think it's better if you have an easier rotation of the house job. Just do like 3 months in some allied sciences or allied medicine or allied surgery, and kind of like have like a easier schedule or something, because you will be able to study side by side, right? So I think the ideal time for taking step 1 nowadays will be 4th year, will be ideal time. And the ideal time to take CK will be to start the preparation in final year and try your best to take the exam in the final year. But if you're unable to take it or not getting a good score on the NBMEs, then have the first 3 months of the house job in it with a lighter schedule, like in the allied medicine or allied surgery, and then take exam during that time. So this way, your exams are done. And now when you're gonna apply for visa process, you can tell the visa officer, like, I'm doing the house job. Obviously, it's mandatory to get my license. So that shows your intent that you will go to the United States for maybe 2-3 weeks, but you will definitely gonna come back because you need to complete your house job to get your medical license. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you. I also have another question. Since last year, the step 1, it's been changed from a scoring to like pass and fail. So I'm pretty sure there are students who did it around 3 or 4 years ago. So they have scores, whereas someone who would give it this year, they would have a pass or a fail system. So does that affect, when we're getting selected for the matching process? Would that have any effect on that?
Does not affect. So I was in the committee when we were making those changes. So when the new changes happen in the USMLE, it goes through the state level ACP, and it goes through the national level also, FSMB. So there were so many program directors, and we discussed it so many times with them. So I personally think it does not matter. If you have, it's actually beneficial for you, because now it's just pass or fail rather than, so the score filter for the programs is gone. So now when the program's gonna look at the application, all they want is pass or fail. They will not gonna apply the score filter anymore for step 1. So they will apply score filter for step 2 CK. And let me tell you the truth, the most common filter they use is 240 plus, unfortunately nowadays, right? So if you don't score 240 plus on the CK, you might not gonna get a lot of interviews as based on your score, but then it depends on your CV also. So there's so many filters which program directors usually apply.
Thank you for answering my questions. Thank you.
All right, any other question? Please feel free to ask. No one is judging you on this portal.
So what are the other ways to shine our CV? For example, does the volunteer experience matter, and how much does it matter, especially in fields like that do care about volunteer work, like pediatrics? So, what is your thought on that?
Yes, volunteer experience, there should be volunteer experience in your CV and at least 2 volunteers experience. So it does matter. So it shows, the reason it does matter is basically it shows that you're willing to help people. That's what it shows. Let's suppose I'm a program director. I call you at 1 a.m. and I woke you up from sleep because the hospital got really, really busy. We got like 50 patients in the ED, and you're like, your phone is off and you're not responding, and you're like not coming to the hospital, and you're showing attitude like, oh, I don't want to come to the hospital. I'm not on call, or blah, 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 right? So programs don't like that. So they want people who are collegial, because you work as a team, you work as a family when you're in the hospital. So you help each other. There have been events where I needed a day off, or I got something urgent to be taken care of in the middle of my work, and my co-fellows were there to help me. So so that's why volunteer experience is important, because it shows your intent that you help people.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So you talked about the volunteer experience. So in Pakistan, what are the organizations or other ways of getting this experience?
Yeah.
Is it should be recognized internationally or
So
be
we have excellent experience. Trust me, guys. Like, I mean, when I was in community medicine, I went twice for polio immunization. That was a volunteer experience, and I put that on my CV. And I talked about that in every interview. I was like, I was so glad to be part of the polio immunization in Pakistan, because WA belongs to somewhat like a northern areas, and people in northern areas in the surrounding of the northern areas, although WA has a 95 to 100% literacy, like, you know, the people are very well educated in WA. As compared to surrounding areas, but we get a lot of people from surrounding areas, and those people, they don't want to vaccinate their kids. So we were able to educate them, and we were able to vaccinate. Unfortunately, Pakistan is one of the 2 or 3 countries where polio is still a disease, you know. So, and they really liked it because it shows your intent towards serving the community, you know, doing something for the community. So it can be as simple as um, doing some volunteer experience medically, or doing some volunteer experience for just humanity. So it can be any kind of volunteer experience. Like here, when I moved here, I used to go to church to help people over there for their mental awareness program with one of the psychiatrists, and that was a volunteer experience. And they really liked it. Like, so that also shows that I'm not biased based on my religion, although I practice Islam, alhamdulillah, I pray and all that. But the thing is, like, that doesn't mean that I shouldn't go to church and help Christians or things like that, right? So you should be willing to help people regardless of their gender, regardless of their, you know, of their religion and things like that. And these points are very important in the U.S. healthcare system.
so did you got the certificates or you just wrote in your CV that I have done these experiences?
No, you just write in your CV, and if they want to check, they can always cross-check with them. You know, you're not lying. Just make sure you don't lie, because anyone can cross-check anything anytime. So
Okay, okay. And I also wanted to ask you about the research. How much time do you think that we need for a significant research experience, like a year? When should we start after graduation?
it's a long journey. I mean, I started research in 17. So it's almost 6 years, right? So every day you learn something new. So research needs some persistence, obviously, and some dedication. So sometimes when I come home, like I'm working on my laptop like till 1 a.m. doing coding and programming. So if you're passionate about it, then research is your thing. If you just want to have a paper under your name, then you might get a 1 or 2 papers, but in the longer run, it will not going to help you. So it all depends on a person, like both active and passive learning. So I gave you resources. Now I'll see like how many people will going to actually work on those resources and will actually going to do those certifications and courses. And
So I read about this somewhere that quality matters more than quantity in research. How will you explain this?
no, quantity matters. Both things matter. Initially in your career, obviously, uh, has anyone from Pakistan has published in New England Journal of Medicine? Tell me one example. No, no one has published, especially when there were medical students or residents or fellows. No one has ever published in NEJM, right? That's a big journal. So that's a quality journal. Can you publish in NEJM? Can I publish in NEJM right now? No, we cannot. It needs some dedicated learning and some new idea, right? And you need big names to collaborate with in order to get you published in an NEJM journal. So right now you start from the bottom, right? So you start from even starting from the curious journal, starting from low impact journal, it's fine. You slowly go up the ladder. You cannot publish in Jack from the day one. You slowly get better, and you slowly learn, and then your quality gonna get better ultimately. But initially, a reasonable quality with the quantity matters the most.
And one thing I would also ask you about, like we have this platform of WMC, North American Association, but when you applied for your match, how did you got assistance and guidance, and how did you network for the match?
That's a good question. I mean, I struggled a lot when I moved here. Like I had no guidance about the US healthcare system. I used to go to usmle-forums.com and I used to read their experiences. I used to read a lot. I used Google a lot, I think. So um, so I think those experiences helped me the most. I learned from different experiences of different people. And then I I emailed so many people in order to find rotations, and ultimately I found a couple of good rotations. And initially I was unable to find any rotation. And I went through a company, met clerkships, and I had to pay them to get a US clinical experience rotations. You know, they gave me 3 months of clinic-based rotations, and which mostly people have done it for free, but I had no guidance. So I'm telling you from my mistakes early on. Um, and but in your case, like I'm happy to guide you, or other members who are here in US, they're happy to guide you. So you have somewhat support because we belong to WMC. We're happy to help you. Um,
Okay, so I have a question that we should aim for high scores, 250 to 60 plus. But if we do score in the 240s or in 230s, so what are our options? Should we take a gap year in which we dedicate it to research only, or how can we ensure that we do match?
um, so so basically, I mean, so the way I think is like every day your CV should be better than the last day. And every match, your CV should be better than the previous match. Because otherwise, there's no point in applying match over and over again if your CV and letters are the same. So you're just trying to just play with your luck or something, right? So if your scores are 240s in CK, you got to work a lot on research. You got to publish abstracts, articles. You got to collaborate with people who are publishing very heavily or very quickly, who will help you to publish quickly. And you got to do rotations with the right people, someone who vouch for you, someone like in the hospital based programs. But if you're unable to find the hospital based rotations, it's okay to do initially the clinic based rotations and then move to the hospital based rotations. So as long as you are adding something your CV and you're dedicated and persistent, you will match. I have not seen anyone over the last, since I started this USMLE journey, last like more than 10 years or even more than that, I have not seen anyone who went unmatched with, especially if they were persistent. So someone got matched in their 4th attempt, someone got matched in their 5th or 6th attempt, but I saw everybody getting matched at the end of the day. And that's what matters. And if you look at it, like even if you match after 3rd or 4th attempt, right, you're still better off as compared to, I mean, obviously Pakistan healthcare system is not bad to work in also. But if you really want to move out of that system and practice outside, then it's still worth it. When I was practicing in Pakistan, so the biggest thing was like things were not according to the guidelines or according to the way I was reading in the books. And it always bugs me. And I was like, it's just like practicing if someone has a cough and just give the cough syrup rather than finding the underlying solution or what exactly have caused cough, whether it's a medication related cough due to the ACE inhibitors, whether it's like GERD, what have actually caused it. So once you enhance your vision and you're dedicated and persistent, you'll match.
Okay, that's motivating. Thank you.
So Yasir Bhai, I have a question related to my situation right now. So my house job is going to start from 15th of June. So would you advise me to delay house job for step 1 preparation and start it after my step 1 and prepare for step 2 during the house job? Or I should start house jobs right away and
So started in the, if possible, then started in the light surgery or light medicine and have like a easier schedule. So a couple of factors. Do you care about getting paid in your house job? If you don't care about that, then go to the hospital that have an easier schedule, do your house job over there and then get your house job done. But the main focus is doing a USMLE. Now, I have seen like when I was in Pakistan, even I was wasting so much time, trust me. When I moved here, I made sure like I don't waste time. So what do I mean by that? So when I go to the hospital, I have Anki app on my phone. Nowadays, you can make the best use of your smartphones. Have the Anki app on your phone, have the USMLE World app on your phone, and just keep doing questions on the app on your phone, and just keep making your flashcards side by side on the Anki. And even if you're seeing patients, between the 2 patients, you have 10 minutes off, you can do 3 questions in the 10 minutes, right? So if you study like that, you can easily do so much. I used to do 130 to 150 questions from USMLE World Q Bank every day. And when I see people now doing only 30 questions or 40 questions in a day, they spend like 6 hours on those 40 questions. And then they're dragging their prep over the course of 8 months or 1 year. That's not the way to prep. The best way to prep is do most of the content in a short period, you're going to retain more.
Okay. I was concerned about my year of graduation because you see, our result came out in November 2023. So if we don't apply for match 2025, then we'll pass the 3-year mark.
That's
Is
fine.
it-
3 year is fine. As long as you're within 5 year, you're in good shape.
Okay.
5
And
year
what
is
will
major
be,
cutoff. Like 3 year is a cutoff for some of the programs.
okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Dr. Yasi, you talked about getting a rotation in the clinic setting or in the hospital setting. So what if we get a clinic rotation and then, I mean, what do the program directors go after? Is it the rotation or is it the how the letter is written to you, the content of the letter?
The
Does it
content
matter a lot?
The content
Okay.
matters the most. And then is the hospital name, and then how well known that person is. So all of these things matter. So people who do research with me, like I gave them letters of recommendation for their research, and I wrote a good content for them, and they talked about that during their interviews. So I think nowadays 3 letters should be the clinical letters, and 1 letter should be a research letter. So you need that at least research letter and someone who is known in the field of research or things like that. So the content matters the most.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I think I'm gonna close the Q&A session. So it was nice chatting with all of you. Thanks for joining the meeting. I think Hassan Arshid is here. Hassan, are you there? Can you hear me? Hello?
He has not joined the audio, I guess.
Yeah, I think Hassan just joined, but see if he can hear me. Hassan, can you hear me? Let me ask him to unmute. Um, okay. Let's see. I hope it's the same Hassan from Texas, right? Hassan, are you there? Okay, I think he might be having audio issue. So let's see. So ask to unmute. I think it's muted from your end, Hassan. Can you unmute from your end? I can actually make you the host so that it's easier for you. Okay, I made you the host. I think now you can unmute yourself. Hassan, is your audio working still or not? Sorry, give it a few more minutes and let me ask him if he can join the link again, maybe. All right, it says that it's connecting to the audio. Hassan, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Oh, okay.
Nice
Assalamu
to
alaikum.
see you.
Kya haal hai?
Good, good.
So,
How's the weather in Texas?
yeah, it's good. It's a little cold. It's a little chilly. I don't know why. Global climate change. But I see. I think I guys joined you a little late. And so everybody else is good. Yasser, you're good. Everybody else is good.
Yes, everything good. So let me show you what basically I went over. So I went over this agenda for the US alumni. So we're going to have a dedicated guidance for steps, basically, just in a nutshell. And we're going to give them a high yield content and questions where they should target to score good. And then free access to the research and statistical courses. So I posted the links over here on the bottom. And then we will be, then I'll give them my meta-analysis video lectures also. And then the visa application guidance and mock interviews for visas and help with the accommodation or guidance with the accommodation when they come to United States, and our research meetings, travel grants or abstract presentation. And the biggest thing, Hassan, we need to work on is observership and externship. As you know, the policies are changing for the GME policies in different hospitals, and we will try to build a list for applicants where people can rotate, this will save their time in sending like 1,000 emails and someone
Yeah.
yeah.
So I don't know what is the policy in West Virginia University, Yasser bhai, but here at Methodist we're open for all. Matlab, I get requests about observerships from like the last time I got somebody observership, he was from Khyber Medical College. He recently matched, and now somebody's getting observership from Hamdard University through me. Our cardiology faculty is very open to observers, and it's very reasonable. I think it's about $300 a month or something through the Global Education Forum, and even in 1 month you can do like maybe you can rotate with 2 people. You can do clinics with one cardiologist and do CCU.
That's very
Yeah, so Methodist is really open.
Yeah, so our policies are different. I mean, unfortunately, we used to take observers, but now the GMA is so strict because of some events happened before, so they are not allowing any of.
Yeah, no, Houston Methodist is like full of observers right now. I mean,
Very
because so it's easy to get in while I'm here. It's just somebody has to, they're not gonna give you a support letter for visa. Sometimes the applicants are asking about that, give us this framework letter for visa. But obviously they're gonna give you a letter that there's an observership, you can actually apply for visa. And a lot of people have these misconceptions that if you have a letter, you're gonna get a visa, but it's not the way. If you have given steps, you're going for an observership, you have an observership letter, it's not going to be gated towards the embassy or something. It's just going to be a letter that you're going for an observership. It should suffice. I mean, if it's going to get denied, there are several other reasons why it gets denied, not that you didn't have a letter or something. What else? But yeah, Houston Methodist even Baylor, where I did my observerships, is pretty open to observers. That shouldn't be a reason not to apply for USMLEs or get or or delay or get delayed in your application or something like that, if you understand. Yeah, these are things that can be done, and this is a good forum to chat if you guys need some help. So this can be actually done.
All right, Hassan, I'm gonna put your email also here in this document. I gave a free access, open free access to this one so that they this agenda all the time. So, so next one, I told them about the postdoc fellowships. Obviously, once they keep on doing research, it's easier to get into postdocs.
Yeah.
Some baseline experience. And then, if they had some article written up, we are happy to guide edit and help them.
I think that's where your services really are really required, because to be honest, again, postdoc fellowships are there in Methodist. We at least have 7 or 8 postdoc fellows in different departments of cardiology, and you probably know it better than me. All these guys. Safi hired another postdoc fellow. He came from India, but the postdoc fellows, and right now it's Iza Shahid. She came from Davao.
Fellows can hire. Fellows can hire postdoc.
No. I recommend. Yeah. So there, Safi recommended Shubham. He was a fellow to Khurram Nasir. So Khurram Nasir, and then there was a girl who was Iza Shahid. She's from Dao. I don't know how she got. Yeah, you know Iza.
Me
So
and
this is
Isha
the
did
thing.
like 2-3 papers, and actually one of the person who was working with me, Luke Titus, he's coming as a preventive medicine fellow, preventive cardiology fellow with Khurram Nasir.
Yeah.
So he's already working. I had few papers with.
Again, this is monumental, because postdoc fellow is a $60,000 job. $65,000 job. So it's not like observership. Observership, if you have a pulse, I can get you an observership. But postdoc fellow, you have to be good. You know how to write papers. You know how to do research. You know how to do systematic reviews and meta-analysis. And that's where,
So I opened a.
help you guys, and his services are going to be monumental. If you are going to go onto that track, you really have to stick with Yasser or how he has built his research profile.
So I opened up a portal, Hassan, where people can learn basics of the stats also. So let me show you. One of the person from WMC is helping with the video editing, and he's really phenomenal. So these are like, so every week my plan is to make 3 short tutorials. So people will learn about the basic statistical coding. So I just want to show it to you guys.
Welcome everybody.
Here, this is
to the XUSCE Stata tutoring.
Box plots, and then I'm teaching them how to.
So today we're going to have a session about how to make scatter plots. We will also be discussing.
So this portal I'm starting on the weekly basis, where people will have free access to the Stata coding, and then we'll teach them. Like, at least I think these skills are very important when you go for postdoc, especially physicians who are looking for people who can do stats, also people who can write papers, and obviously you're more beneficial for them, and they can even give you H-1B visa through the research.
Yeah.
The postdocs give you H-1B, and you'll get your green card through the H-1B.
Yeah. No, this is crazy. This is crazy. This is the competitive fellowships. If you want, if some one of you guys want to do like a fellowship in neurosurgery or cardiothoracic surgery, or that is also monumental, because they're not going to hand you a cardiothoracic surgery residency like that. You'll have to ace your USMLE steps. You'll have to do research. And you'll have to secure a postdoctoral fellowship position, and then do some real research and publish some good papers. That's going to make you a competitive fellow spot. I don't know what are the current trends of matching, but just time pe hum the, if you get good scores and you have decent letters for internal medicine, psych, neuro, peds, path, what else comes to my mind? Maybe general surgery. You can get into a very good residency program even without these things about.
I think that time we didn't have much guidance.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't have. Yeah.
We have
Sorry, pardon my French. We didn't have shit. Yeah.
We struggled even more.
Yeah, we did a lot of struggle. There was a lot of struggle. I remember the first time they had issues with even WMC signing the thing when I was a third year, giving my first step. They didn't know when to sign, where to sign. They actually screwed up the form. I don't remember 780 or something the first time. But I think, yes, you guys are privileged in the sense that you have these portals, guidance. But yes, at that time also we had these issues कि डाओ और केई और आ खान वालों का बहुत एक strong alumni होता था, and they used to have a lot of guidance. But regardless, everybody has to put in the hard work. Guidance, no guidance. Guidance can help you do a little bit of smart work, but regardless,
Exactly. So at the end of the day, I think it comes down to a person. Like we have resources to give you, but it's both active and passive learning. Obviously, me and Hassan will not gonna babysit you or things like that. We both are fellows. Hassan, for those of you who don't know Hassan, he's extremely highly competent, I would say, in clinicals and also in the research. Also, he did his residency from Rutgers in internal medicine, which is really competitive program to get into. And then he did his cardiology. Almost he's about to graduate very soon, in a month, from Houston Methodist. And then he gonna be interventional fellow in a Houston Methodist. And then I've heard a lot about Hassan, even in different meetings from some of other close friends, that when he's in the cath lab, he's like really on top of everything, and he's like phenomenal with his hands also. So you have mentors like those, who are your seniors from the WMC, and we would love to help you. Now, obviously, it all comes down to you also. You have resources, even though our community is not as big as DOE or other organizations, but the ones who are here, they're highly competent, like people who are here. Even like Adil in psychiatry, he's very highly competent. And then Saad, he's pretty good. And then Anika, I haven't spoken to her for some time. She's somewhere in PA also. And then Bisma, one of my classmates, she did pediatrics. She's a pediatric attending. I think she did from Texas Tech. So we have people who are in different fields. And there's, I think Anwar, he did his pediatrics. I think his wife got a nursing psych. So we have good number of people, as long as you're willing to show some effort. So Hassan, other features are monthly. We will give them a CME certifications. So that will be free certifications that will build up their CME scores, and also it's a good add-on to their CV. So yeah, that's pretty much it, I will say, where we are trying to help them.
Oh, I think, man, you have taken a big task, I think, Yasir.
Yeah.
It's really, really nice.
Yeah, and I have echo boards coming up in 1 month.
I know. They're a pain. Yeah. They're pretty hard boards. So any of you guys have any questions for Yasir or me? I'm very happy to answer in a really frank and truthful, honest, and non-boastful way. I won't tell you this road is easy, but it is rewarding.
It is very rewarding. I remember the day when I started my USMLE preparation, and I used to hate it. But in the longer run, now I'm so satisfied that it was worth it.
So any questions, just participate. This is not a one-way conversation. I'm hoping. you know,
So
there, I
someone is
think,
telling you also, so don't hesitate or like
yeah,
don't be shy.
yeah. So you unmuted yourself, Mohammed Abbas. Yes, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I do have a question regarding telemedicine. So, if we are unable to score a good observership, and because of the visa issue nowadays, if we can get a telemedicine rotation, what
Yeah.
is the weightage of that LOR that we do get? So, does that count? Is that comparable to the LORs we get in the US clinical experience, or is it just useless?
I have no experience of telemedicine rotation because it was not a thing back then. Uh, I can answer, I can get you back with, I can ask around people who have done it. Just thinking out loud, I don't think it's going to be useless. However, if you don't have visa issues, then it doesn't make sense to do telemedicine.
So
If you have visa issues, yes, maybe telemedicine is a good option. But if you don't have visa issues, you got the visa, then we can get you an observership. I'm sure. I mean, it's not a big deal.
So I will say, like, if you have I'm glad Hassan pointed out. So if you have a visa issues also, there's tons of physicians in Pakistan who are US trained also. So you
Hmm.
can rotate with them and get a letter from them. And they're US trained doctors. When they're going to write you a letter on the bottom, they're going to say MD or fellowship in American College of Cardiology, whatever. So that will still be helpful. I personally know people who actually got a decent score and they have used letters from Pakistan and they got matched. And they got matched even at Mount Sinai, New York over there.
Yeah, you have me. So Yasir, I don't know if I've told you this or not. There were 4 letters, right? 4 letters or 3 letters requirement. I don't remember for internal medicine. Wasimuddin wrote one of my letters.
Yeah, and he's
And
he's also
yeah,
like fellowship in American Society of Gastroenterology, FASC.
yeah. So yeah, Wasimuddin wrote one of my letters. So I used it, and Musarrat Ramzan had written me a second letter. One was from Mehboob Alam, and one was from Rajiv Raghavan. He was a nephrologist here he's a program director at Bailiff. So I had these 4 letters, and I used, so I think you can use 3 letters. I don't remember what was that, but in some programs I used Musarrat Ramzan letters, and some letters I used Wasimuddin's letter, and uh, and uh, and it is, and I would recommend you guys. Maybe they're gonna lynch me, um, because some people are like totally no, you cannot use a Pakistani letter. But remember this: at the end of the day, you have spent more time with them than you have spent with the US guys. So maybe one letter, a Pakistani letter, is okay. Granted, he writes you an excellent letter,
Yeah,
like
and
a
also,
personalized, excellent letter.
and I think that makes sense also. Someone who know you for 5 years during your medical school can write you a good letter.
Yeah. So
And also, I think people tell you a lot of negative stuff. When I came here, people were like, "You are coming back to back on the B1, B2. Your visa will be, they will revoke your visa, things like that." So let me tell you, when I first came to United States, I stayed 6 months. I exited the US a week before, and then I went to Pakistan for 4 days, and I came back and I stayed for 6 months again. Then I went to Pakistan, stayed for 18 hours. I just reached home, slept for 5 hours, and then came back. And they asked me on at the portal. They were like, "Oh, seems like you just exited yesterday, and why you're coming back?" I was like, "Look, I didn't want to come back. I have an interview at University of North Dakota. I'm a physician. They wanted me to urgently appear there, and I'm gonna reach New York City, and then after that, I have next connecting flight to North Fargo, North Dakota, which is like 7 hours from there." And they were like, "Okay, sir, you can go." So as long as you're able to justify and you know how to talk to people, you should be good.
Okay,
other,
thank you.
yes, Wes.
I don't know. I just wanted to say thank you for your comments.
Yeah, I think I'll get back to you with more detail on this. I know somebody who has done telemedicine rotation, but I don't know what is his, how does he weigh his letter or something. The letter has to be good, and the telemedicine doctor has to be invested in you. He gives you a good letter. But if you can't do it for visa issues, then I think that's your best bet, huh? Right?
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
I mean, everything counts. I mean, like I said earlier, every little addition in the CV does count.
Yeah, there is no replacement to scores, I'll tell you this. Remember that always.
Yeah.
There is no replacement to scores, and now you only have one score to judge you. Previously, there used to be two scores.
I
But now
remember, so when I applied for cardiology, I got 8 interviews.
yeah,
And I had bunch of research. That's why I got matched. But
yeah,
with the same application, one of my friend Vakas, his scores were 260 plus, and we had almost same number of publications. He got 24 interviews.
yeah,
I got 8 interviews. So you can see the difference. And we both had the green card. We both did not need exactly the same CV. His other strong points might be like 2 years of postdoc fellowship, but that
yeah.
doesn't matter. I mean, my residency program was better than his program even. But the thing is, like at the end of the day, the example I'm giving you is just to tell you that score does matter at the end of the day.
Yeah, all these things that we talk about more actually, because score is one thing that you can control. I can't. I can guide you about resources. Yasser can guide you about resources to use. Obviously, I can't make you study, right? I'm not your home tutor, or Yasser is not your home tutor. Even home tutors don't have. If they, you have to work hard yourself. So I can tell you this. Score trumps everything. These are all salad dressings and side um, starters and appetizers and whatever. But the main course is your score, at least for your internal medicine residency match. And you're absolutely right. Sometimes, there's a physician. I don't agree with her. She's from Aga Khan. She's one of my attending, Mawash Kasi. She's like, when I'm looking at applications for advanced heart failure and transplant fellowship, I'm still looking at scores. I'm like, what the hell? You're still looking at USMLE scores for advanced heart failure and transplant fellowship. She's like, that is the only objective data point in your entire application. If you understand what I'm saying, the only objective data point in your entire application is your scores. Other thing is all subjective.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I think very nicely said. Someone have.
Other questions? Oh, there are so many other guys, right? There is Ahmed, there is Bilal Masood, there is Alizia. This is my habit. I just pick on people. Sorry. If you have questions, just ask us. So Ahmed is a hand, right? Yeah.
So first of all, thank you very much, both of you guys, because on these groups related to USMLE, there is a lot of negative comments and a lot of negative situations that those guys are discussing about each other, and I would say lots of thank you. And one question will be, what will you guide me, because I am in the beginning of my journey for USMLE. I have recently graduated, and what do you suggest that my timeline should be about my USMLE?
I think Hassan can answer that better because he finished kind of like a little quicker than me.
Yeah. Ahmed, you just graduated. You're going to do a house job?
I don't. I think I should skip it, but I don't know what is better to skip it or to go with it.
Are you going to do USMLE 100%?
Yes, inshallah.
You have finances?
Not that much, but I guess to support my whole of the journey.
So I mean, if you don't do house job, you don't have responsibilities to do that stuff, right?
हाँ जी, बिल्कुल ऐसे ही.
Okay. So you don't do house job, that's fine. Okay, so I think because initially I used to say, you have to do your USMLE step 1 before a baby comes out of a pregnant mom. So less than 9 months. Now I've changed my recommendation to less than 6 months because it is a pass fail thing. So it's a pass fail thing. It doesn't, you're not going to get an award for being the best USMLE step 1 scorer. So so I think 4 months for USMLE 1 if you're not doing your house, and then it's gonna take another 4 to 6 months of step 2 CK. You're gonna say, I just give my medicine boards, maybe medicine is fresh in my mind, I can do step 2 CK. I'm completely comfortable with that. You can do step 2 CK, come for observerships for about a couple of months, take a nice break in America, give your OETs, and then tackle your step 1. But I think the entire journey should take less than 14 months. I wanted to give you an year but I realized, you have to come here, give OET, and you have to give your steps, and you have to apply, and there will be some lazy days. So I'm just saying that there's going to be just 14 months. Think about 14 months, you have to do everything. It doesn't matter, you have to do step 2 CK first or step 1 first. You have to do it the right way. You have to make a schedule. You have to use the right resources. So about 6 odd months for step 1, 4 to 6 months for 6 odd months for step 2, 4 odd months for step 1, and then in between you can do your clinicals, and you can do your OET. So that's like a very rough timeline that I can give you. Again, you have to make your own chart. You have to obviously know where you are, and you have to do all the right things. I'm sure Yasir went through everything, but you have to use the resources, then use the right resources. At least, again, for steps exams, I can tell you this: there is no replacement to the number of questions that you're going to do. So there's a nice study that was done, I think 10 odd years ago. I think it is still valid, that if you have done at least 5 to 7,000 questions combined with MBOSS, whatever these resources are. These are now new resources. I never used them, but at my time it was USMLE RX questions, UWorld questions, Kaplan questions. But now I've heard that there is a lot of MBOSS and so on and so forth. So you have to at least do 6,000 questions to ace an exam. And if you go ahead and do like 8,000, 9,000, so you actually have to do more and more questions.
That's true for every exam, I think.
That's true for every exam.
Like I'm studying for Echo Board exam. I'm doing
Yeah.
questions, American Study Echo question, Echo SAP question. So once I do like 3,000 or 4,000 questions, I'm gonna be master. So if you want to master anything, just keep quizzing yourself. You're gonna be the master.
Yeah. So how this is the way teaching is now. You have to go with an open mind. There shouldn't be lectures or anything. Somebody. So what is this? उसे पता नहीं क्या कहते हैं उसे, वो जो आजकल की टीचिंग का मॉडल है. I don't remember.
एक्टिव लर्निंग कहते हैं शायद इसे.
Modular?
ये मॉड्यूलर सिस्टम में ना, हाँ, PBL, sorry, वो
problem based learning.
Yeah, my dad hates it. He's a professor at Shifa, he hates it. But probably he was. So the PBL is what? PBL क्या होता है कि थोड़ा थोड़ा आप पढ़ के आ गए हैं from your book, और अब आप बैठ के हैं प्रोफेसर के सामने और आप सवाल पूछना शुरू करते हैं और वो आपको जवाब देता है, और बाकी बहुत सारे लोग सवाल करते हैं, जवाब देते हैं, वो भी आपसे कुछ सवाल करता है, आप जवाब देते हैं, और 1-2 घंटे के अंदर हर बंदे की क्वेरीज जो हैं वो सॉल्व हो जाती हैं, एंड हर बंदे के दिमाग के अंदर वो कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर हो जाता है. सो दैट इज PBL. सो दैट इज द कोर ऑफ इट. पीपल, मैं बहुत सारे अभी वो है नहीं चैट पर, बट मेरे दोस्त हैं वो WMC के. He spent like 3 months doing Kaplan videos, which in this day and age doesn't really make any sense. यार 3 महीने आपने videos देखते रहे हैं, so that's too much, you know.
So
I mean, I
that's
understand there's some good videos, yeah.
That's why, Hassan, I'm bringing up a system for all the WMC. It's going to be medical jeopardy, where we
Okay.
gonna have the dedicated question bank for the step
Yeah.
1, step 2 CK. And those questions gonna be kind of like problem-based, 1 or 2 liner problem-based questions, and they will answer it as a flashcard.
Yeah. इसी वजह से you know whenever वो एक जब हुसाम ने मुझे बुलाया था एक talk के ऊपर, I did not have any slides out of laziness, but I actually asked them to just keep on asking me questions and go after. That's why I'm encouraging every one of you to come up with some questions you can ask me or ask Yasser, and then we can answer you. So because I can keep on going and give you all useless information that probably is not going to help you, right? अगर आपका सवाल मैंने हल कर दिया, या what is in your mind, that is the basic thing. But
ये ना Google में भी you know Google certification हो रही है, तो जो software engineer थे उनको jobs नहीं मिल रही, और जिन लोगों ने certification की है क्योंकि वो problem solve कर रहे हैं, backend पे वो programming कर रहे हैं, coding कर रहे हैं, हर चीज कर रहे हैं. So at the end of the day, if you're engineering degree and you're unable to solve a problem, it doesn't matter. You should be able to. So what matters is like you're able to solve the problem.
या फातिमा ने एक मुझे चैट मैसेज पे किया है कि यूएसएमएलई में हाईएस्ट स्कोर कैसे लें. दैट इज द ओनली वे आई कैन टेल यू, जो कि मैं बता रहा हूँ. यू हैव टू डू अ लॉट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस. मेरी रिकमेंडेशन है, मैंने हर यूएसएमएलई के लिए 8 to 9,000 सवाल किए थे. सो यू कैन इमेजिन के 8 to 9,000 means I used at least 4 question banks.
It's needed.
So yeah, so you have to do 4 question banks. You can't get the U world, you know, because most of the people जो कि अमेरिका में बैठे होते हैं, they have been doing these MCQs, these long stem case presented MCQs all their life, all their 4 years of med school. So they are very good. They can do U world and really get awesome scores, but not us. We have to do a little bit practice.
The other thing is like there is one question you can ask in 4 or 5 different styles, and after that you're done. You can not have any styles left, and that's why if you have one style of question, a third order question in USMLE world, you might get a second order question in USMLE RX, or you might get a first order question in the Kaplan Cube book. So I personally have noticed that I got a lot of questions from Cube book concepts, like straightforward questions in the USMLE exams. And even the free questions which USMLE gives you, like a 150 free questions, in the real exam, you might gonna get 1 or 2 similar concepts based on those free questions. So it's very important to do as many questions as possible. And even if you go to the USMLE forums, there's categories on those forums, and you can select the questions posted by applicants over there. And you can, I had one of the friend who scored like 274 on step 2 CK back in like 2014, when that was such a big thing, you know, 274. And she used to go to all of these forums and select those tags and do those questions also along with all those Q banks. And then when she did any mistake, she used to watch those video lectures to understand that concept and just keep doing questions.
Absolutely. You know, all of you guys, how many of you guys are there? 20 people, participants, except for us too. So maybe 18 or 19 participants, you know. I'm telling you guys, plain up front, you have to be very methodical. बहुत ज़्यादा टेक्निक और मेथड के साथ ये काम करना है. You have to grow out of your pajamas. You really have to. You have to become an adult. ठीक है? If you are this, you cannot be a second professional or third professional or final professional medical student anymore. You have to get an adult. ठीक है? Because we're talking about potential हर बंदे के लिए, we're talking about an excellent training for their life, first of all. We're talking about coming to US, getting green card and citizenship for all of you. We're talking about a job that is going to probably pay in Pakistani rupees, whatever you do from cardiology to gastroenterology, at least 30-35 lakhs after taxes a month. Okay, depending upon what you do internal medicine, surgery, it can be plus minus. Okay, so we're talking about high stakes here. We're talking about serious business here. If you're not invested and you cannot grow out of your pajamas, this is not for you. You have to become an adult really quickly. And you have to say, I got this. This is going to be a couple of, किसने मुझसे पूछा था उसकी timeline? Yes. So somebody asked me about the timeline. So I'm going to tell you, the timeline is going to be 14 months, but these are the hardest 14 months. You're going to work really hard because this is a life-changing opportunity that you still have.
So sometime like persistence matters. Like for me, it took a little bit more time because I had to handle my finances by myself. I didn't want to be dependent on my family or something. So I remember I used to teach for USMLE on like $5 an hour. Then I went to like $20 an hour. And it took me 5-6 years, whatever. But long story short, I grow so much here that whatever effort I'm putting, I'm getting something out of it. Like I went into leadership in the ACC, AHA, ACP, things like that. If I was still in Pakistan, I would have been just doing a random medical officer job.
Yeah. So you guys all have this time right now, but आज से 6 साल बाद ये किश्ती निकल जाए शायद. I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming everybody is towards the end. अगर कोई first year, second year medical student है तो he has a little bit of more time. But if somebody has recently graduated, 5-7 years from now, this might be just a missed opportunity. So you have to realize कि ये time आपके पास अभी है, शायद 5 से 8 साल बाद ना हो. Yeah. So, any other questions? Bilal Masood, Naima Chaudhary, Sadaf Siddiqui, Fatma, Muhammad Wakas, Moeed Ghaffar.
तो भाई
आपने
कहा कि 4 क्वेश्चन बैंक्स किए होने चाहिए, तो उसकी आपकी क्या स्ट्रेटजी थी, आपकी मेथोडोलॉजी क्या थी जो जिस तरह आपने तैयारी की थी विद इन 6 months या फॉर स्टेप 1?
अच्छा, मैंने ना स्टेप 1 के लिए थोड़ी सी ज्यादा जान मारी थी. मेरे पास थोड़ा टाइम भी था. मैं 3rd ईयर में, मैंने 4th ईयर के स्टार्ट में स्टेप 1 दे दिया था. सो मैंने पूरा 3rd ईयर लगाया था. सॉरी, मैंने बिल्कुल अकेले, मैं उन साहब को बता रहा था जो कह रहे थे कि वो ना हाउस जॉब करेंगे और वो ग्रेजुएट हो चुके हैं.
मैं ही था
हाँ, आप ही थे. अच्छा, हाँ, तो मेरी स्ट्रेटेजी थोड़ी फर्क थी. मैं अपने MBBS के साथ साथ दे रहा था. तो मैंने तकरीबन, मेरा ख्याल है 8-9 महीने लगाए होंगे. बट मेरी स्ट्रेटजी होगी कि जल्दी से आप 1 महीने के अंदर, अगर आप लेट्स सपोज स्टेप 1 की ओर ले लेते हैं, तो स्टेप 1 आप ले लें तो 1 महीने के अंदर यू कैन डू, फर्स्ट यू हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई कि आप किस चीज़ में वीक हैं और किस चीज़ में आपको ज़्यादा मेहनत की ज़रूरत है. बट देयर इज़ अ थिंग नोन एज फर्स्ट एड प्लस पैथोमा. अच्छा, मैं थोड़ी शायद आउटडेटेड बिकॉज मैंने USMLE किया था, आई डोंट रिमेम्बर कौन से ईयर में, बट मैं अब आई एम लाइक PGY6 गोइंग इनटू PGY7, तो मुझे काफ़ी देर हो गई है. बट द थिंग इज के अगर आप
भाई इट इज लाइक BNB, पैथोमा, फर्स्ट एड एंड यूगर.
अच्छा, सो BNB किसके लिए? फिजियोलॉजी के लिए?
नहीं, वो लेक्चर्स हैं, फर्स्ट एड को एक्सप्लेन करते हैं.
ओह अच्छा, वो जमाने में उसका नाम होता था USMLE RX.
अब बोर्ड एंड बियॉन्ड आ गया है. ये
वो भी है, लेकिन ये नया है.
अच्छा, आई एम सो सॉरी.
बोर्ड एंड बियॉन्ड 3-4 साल पहले. That's what he's talking about, I think.
Oh, so okay, so boards and beyonds आ गया. So I would say कि आप खुद अंदाजा लगा लें कि आपको 16 घंटे पढ़ना है दिन में, तो 16 घंटे में आप, मैं आपको वैसे ज्यादा पुश नहीं करना चाहता, बट जितनी भी बोर्ड एंड बियॉन्ड की वीडियोस होंगी ना, वो आप तकरीबन 2 हफ्ते में तो देख ही लेंगे सारी। बट मैं आई अंडरस्टैंड कि कुछ लोगों के लिए ये नहीं हो सकता काम, बट पैथोमा लिटरली 1 से 1.5-2 हफ्तों में पूरा खत्म हो जाता है। और जो फर्स्ट एड है वो मैं क्वेश्चंस के साथ साथ ही पढ़ता हूँ। सो क्वेश्चन जो पहले 2 जो मैं लेता हूँ बैंक्स, वो मैं करता हूँ स्पेशलिटी वाइज, कार्डियोवैस्कुलर वगैरह वगैरह, और उसके अंदर मैं साथ साथ फर्स्ट एड को पढ़ता हूँ। और जो आखिरी 2 मैं करता हूँ वो मैं करता हूँ जस्ट रैंडम, और वो मैं उसके साथ मैं फर्स्ट एड नहीं पढ़ता, और फिर आखिर में शायद मैं फर्स्ट एड को एक क्विक रिवीजन दे दूं। सो डज इट आंसर योर क्वेश्चन? सो पहले 1.5 महीने के अंदर सारा पैथोमा और वीडियोस देख लें जल्दी जल्दी, उसके बाद पहले 2 क्वेश्चन बैंक्स के साथ फर्स्ट एड पढ़ लें, और फिर आखिर में 2 क्वेश्चन बैंक्स कर लें। आई डोंट नो, डज इट मेक सेंस?
जी ठीक है, समझ तो आ रही है, लेकिन ये है कि जब आप क्वेश्चन करते हैं और देन यू गो फॉर द एक्सप्लेनेशन, और फिर अगर उस एक्सप्लेनेशन को फर्स्ट एड के अंदर एनोटेट करें तो उसमें काफ़ी टाइम लगता है।
हाँ, मैं ये काम ये थोड़ा
या
गोरा
उसका
काम
कोई
है, but
फ्लैश कार्ड बना लें।
वैसे मैं आपको बताऊं,
हाँ,
जो है वो फर्स्ट एड में सब चीजें हैं, कोई चीज मिसिंग नहीं है। फर्स्ट एड को अगर आप बोर्ड से देखोगे कोई चीज होगी फर्स्ट सेक्शन में होगी, जो बेसिक सेक्शन है, कोई चीज स्पेशल ऑर्गन बेस्ड सिस्टम में होगी, लेकिन फर्स्ट एड में मेरा नहीं ख्याल कि कुछ भी उस तरह मिसिंग है।
अच्छा वो
सही
हाँ, मतलब है आप कह रहे हैं कि वो थोड़ा टाइम कंज्यूमिंग है। ऑब्वियसली जो भी आपकी टेक्निक है उसमें आप तेज हो जाएंगे विद द टाइम।
लेकिन अब आप एआई बेस्ड को भी यूज कर सकते हो।
Oh, yeah.
शो यू एन एग्जांपल, ठीक है? आप एआई को किस तरह यूज करते हो, ठीक है? अब ये चैट जीपीटी है, ठीक? अब फर्ज करो आप क्वेश्चन कर रहे हो अबाउट अबाउट हाइपोनेट्रीमिया, ठीक है? और आपने यूवर्ल्ड से क्यू बैंक कर रहे हो, आप फर्स्ट एड पीडीएफ में रखो, आप कंट्रोल एफ या कमांड एफ करो, जल्दी से हाइपोनेट्रीमिया खोलो, फौरन आपके सामने टॉपिक आ जाएगा, जल्दी से आप स्किम कर लो, ठीक है? राइट अवे आपने वो टॉपिक पढ़ लिया। फिर यहाँ पे आप लिख लो हाइपोनेट्रीमिया यूएसएमएलई स्टेप 1 हाई यील्ड क्वेश्चंस, ठीक है?
अमेजिंग मैन, यासर अमेजिंग।
ठीक
आई
है?
मीन मैं भी यूज कर रहा हूँ, बट आई डिड नॉट नो अबाउट दिस मैन।
और चैट जीपीटी इतनी अमेजिंग है, आप इसका ये देखो, आप ये देखो, here are some USMLE step 1 practice questions, ये आपको आंसर भी देगी, ठीक है? और ये सारा एक्सप्लेन करेगी, एक एक चीज एक्सप्लेन करेगी। ये देखो क्वेश्चन देती जा रही है हाइपोनेट्रीमिया पे, ये क्या कर रही है कि सारे फोरम्स में से, सारे ऑनलाइन पोर्टल में से स्टेप 1 के जो फ्लैश कार्ड्स बने हुए हैं, quizlet.com, usmleflashcard.com, whatever that stuff is, it's doing it for you. Use the positive way of resources. मैं फोन पे सारी तैयारी करता हूँ, ठीक है? अब ये देखो, ये 3 क्वेश्चन इसने दे दिए हैं। 65-year-old CHF, nausea, vomiting, confusion, lab shows, ठीक है? hyponatremia in a CHF is a worse mortality, ठीक है? most likely cause of hyponatremia, ठीक है? अब multiple cause हो सकती हैं, ऐसा ADH, ठीक है? ये कह रहा है कि given his history।
क्रेजी वाओ। अच्छा मैंने नहीं यूज किया ऐसे
और
GPT-4।
मैं आपको बताऊं, इधर देखो, मैं प्रोग्रामिंग और कोडिंग करता हूँ ना, ठीक है? अब मैं आई एम डूइंग मास्टर्स आल्सो, ठीक है? तो अब मुझे अब कुछ कभी मुझे और स्टैटिस्टिक्स यूज करनी पड़ती है, स्टैटा मुझे नहीं यूज, आई एम अ स्टैटा प्रोग्रामर एंड कोडर, लेकिन अगर मैं लिखता हूँ कि कन्वर्ट स्टैटा मॉड्यूल एमवी मेटा टू आर कोड, ठीक है? ये देखना, चैट जीपीटी मेरा पूरा स्टैट्स का मॉड्यूल आर फॉर्मेट में कन्वर्ट कर देगी, सारे कोड मुझे दे देगी, मैं यहाँ से कॉपी कोड करूंगा, अपने सॉफ्टवेयर में डालूंगा, इनके वेरिएबल्स चेंज करूंगा, मेरे पास पूरा एनालिसिस होके आ जाएगा। नाउ फील्ड ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी, द अदर डे आई हैड अ पेशेंट, ठीक है? पेशेंट मैंने कुछ मेडिकेशन स्टार्ट करनी थी, ड्रोनिड्रॉन, मैंने चैट जीपीटी पे लिखा, अब ये देखो मैं तुम्हें दिखाता हूँ, ड्रो नीडर ऑन मेजर क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स, ठीक है। अभी आप लिखो, ये चैट जीपीटी क्या करेगी, आपको 2 ट्रायल मेजर हैं उस पे, एथीना ट्रायल एंड पेपस ट्रायल, ठीक है। एंड्रोमीडा ट्रायल ये भी था, ठीक है। एंड्रोमीडा ट्रायल ये ट्रायल था कि हम ड्रोनिड्रॉन NYHA3 और 4 हार्ट फेलियर पेशेंट्स को नहीं देते। दैट वाज द ट्रायल, दैट्स अ ब्लैक बॉक्स वार्निंग। यहाँ से ये वार्निंग आई थी एंड्रोमीडा से, और एथीना ट्रायल से ये इंडिकेशन आई थी कि ये हम परसिस्टेंट एफिब को देते हैं, परमानेंट को नहीं देते। दैट्स अनदर कॉन्ट्राइंडिकेशन। तो अब इसका आप जीनी खरीदो, पुट इट ऑन योर फोन, जीनी इज $40 a year, ठीक है। चैट जीपीटी जीनी आपके सामने होगा, कीप रीडिंग, कीप स्टडिंग, that's how you build knowledge, that's how you give the best care to your patients, and you're going to grow. Now it's the era where you can grow the most if you use a positive way of AI based technology.
Wow. So what basically Yasir is telling you is you have to think outside the box. I have done, these chat GPT for small stuff and
Trust me, like if you use this during your training, Hassan, it will boost your knowledge from, I mean, already you have a very good knowledge, but if your knowledge is somewhat like good, it makes you a stellar. Like for example, even though I read these trials so many times, but when I'm actually putting this in, when I'm actually reviewing patient charts and all that, it will give me everything in literally 1 minute, and
Yeah.
I can read all this in literally 2 minutes, and in 3 minutes the whole topic I reviewed it already, and I
Yeah, wow.
educated my patient about this, and my liability will go down because I educated patient. In the future, if you have a heart failure or symptoms of heart failure, please, I want you to stop this medicine. Now it prevents you from a lot of liabilities also. So make a positive use of things.
I think this is amazing for patient care, for
So
so on and so forth. But मैंने ये USMLE के questions, I think if अगर आपको किसी भी उसका हो रहा हो कि यार मैं हमेशा हाइपोनेट्रीमिया या हाइपरनेट्रीमिया,
आप फर्स्ट एड रखो अपने लैपटॉप में, ठीक है, या फिजिकल वर्जन उसका पेपर बैग रखो, ठीक है, और क्वेश्चंस करते रहो, और कॉन्सेप्ट आप चैट जीपीटी से पढ़ते रहो, आपके कॉन्सेप्ट भी बना देगी, और बस।
नहीं अच्छा, ये मेरे से एक बंदे ने अभी अभी आप कह रहे थे ना, हाँ मुझे एनोटेट करने में बहुत टाइम लगता है, आप
हाँ जी, जो मतलब क्वेश्चन पढ़ के तो फिर उसमें जो मतलब एक्सप्लेनेशन है,
तो
एंड यू
आप
फाइंड
क्या
कि
किताब
वो
खोल सकते हैं
ट्रस्टेड।
पीछे से, फिजिकल बुक?
जी जी, फिजिकल बुक यूज करो।
नहीं यार, आप फिजिकल बुक फिर तो आपको सफेद ढूंढते रहेंगे पूरी जिंदगी।
मैं आपको सिंपल एक और हल बताता हूँ, ठीक है।
नहीं नहीं, मेरी एक मिनट यासिर, मेरी इस बात समझने दे। नहीं आप देखें, मैं ये शायद ये आप में से बहुत सारे लोग कर रहे हो, ये ना कर रहे हो, बट भाईजान अब आपने एक सवाल किया तो अब आप फिर सफ़े खोलेंगे, आप डिजिटल फॉर्मेट में लें यूएसएमएलई को और लिखें हाइपोनेट्रीमिया, और आ जाएगा कहाँ कहाँ है, और साइड पे एक नोट बना दीजिएगा।
नहीं आप वो भी ना करो, ठीक है। एंकी की ऐप $20 की है, आप फोन में डाउनलोड करो। ये देखो मैं क्या करता हूँ, ठीक है, कार्डियोलॉजी का ऑब्वियसली मुश्किल होता है, अब ये मैं प्रिपरेशन कर रहा हूँ ना अपने एग्जाम्स की, ठीक है। अब मैं फोन पे पढ़ता रहता हूँ, फोन पे क्वेश्चन करता हूँ, स्निप कट करके उनके फ्लैश कार्ड बना देता हूँ, और वो ऑटोमेटिकली मैं रिवाइज करता रहता हूँ। अब ये देखो, बेस्ट व्यू ऑफ मेजरिंग वेना कॉन्ट्रैक्टा एंड एओर्टिक रिगर्जिटेशन, ठीक है, ये बता देगा पैरास्टर्नल लॉन्ग एक्सिस, थिंग्स लाइक दैट, और फिर ये बता भी देगा, ठीक है, उसकी इमेज भी डाल दी। अब मैं इसको स्पेसिफाई कर दूंगा, अगेन हार्ड गुड इजी। अगर हार्ड करूंगा तो ये हर 10 मिनट बाद मुझे दिखाएगा, हार्डेस्ट करूंगा तो ये 1 मिनट के बाद मुझे दोबारा कार्ड दिखाएगा, ये 3-4 बार दिखाएगा। जब तक मैं इसको गुड या इजी नहीं करता तो फिर ये डेज पे चला जाएगा, राइट। आजकल टेक्नोलॉजी का बेस्ट यूज करो, मतलब ये सारे स्मार्टफोन्स ये इस वजह से नहीं बने कि आप फेसबुक पे टाइम जाया करो, मेक द बेस्ट यूज ऑफ इट।
नहीं, आई थिंक ये एंकी और चैट जीपीटी और डिजिटल फॉर्मेट में अगर आप जो है अपनी यू वर्ल्ड कर लें तो ये वाकई ये आपका टाइम क्वाड्रुपल हो जाएगा, क्योंकि जो आप कह रहे हैं ना वो मैं कर चुका हूँ, और मैं फेल्ड अटेम्प्ट कर चुका हूँ हाथ से लिखने वाली, काम, और वो मैंने काफी अरसे से छोड़ दिया है। बहुत मुश्किल लगी थी, मैं हाथ से लिखने वाला बंदा था। सो ये बहुत टाइम कंज्यूमिंग होता है। आप लिखें, अगर आपको हाइपोनेट्रीमिया का सवाल है, हाइपोनेट्रीमिया सर्च में लिखें, वो आपको ले जाएगा 2-4 जगह जहां पर हाइपोनेट्रीमिया है। आप जल्दी जल्दी हाइपोनेट्रीमिया को फर्स्ट एड से पढ़ें। आपको डालना है एंकी कार्ड में, आप डाल दें। आपको फिर भी कॉन्सेप्ट समझ नहीं आया तो आप चैट जीपीटी के पास चले जाएं। आपको लग रहा है कि हाइपरनेट्रीमिया के सारे सवाल मैं हमेशा गलत कर देता हूं, तो चैट जीपीटी से आप कहें मुझे और सवाल दे, और सवाल दे। और वो अगर आप ये लिखता ना यासिर के गिव मी मोर क्वेश्चंस, तो वो बनाता रहता, बनाता रहता, बनाता रहता।
आता रहेगा।
हाँ
चैट जीपीटी आपको हर चीज, मैं बताऊं कि मुझे स्टैट्स अगर 70% आती थी तो मुझे स्टैट्स अब एक स्टैटिस्टिशियन जितनी आती है बिकॉज ऑफ द चैट जीपीटी। हर चीज को
हाँ।
आप लाइक यू कैन लर्न सो मच। अब चैट जीपीटी की तरह की और एप्स आई हैं, आप पीडीएफ आर्टिकल डालोगे, वो एआई बेस्ड एप्स आपको समरी दे देती हैं आर्टिकल की, ठीक है? वो
यार ये कौन सी ऐप है यासिर?
मैं भेजूंगा तुम्हें ना, मेरे पास
हाँ,
पूरी
मैं पीडीएफ
रिपोर्ट
में,
है।
इट्स अ बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम कि पीडीएफ अभी तक नहीं,
नहीं नहीं
या
नहीं,
तो फिर मैं
I will send you, so it's amazing. So you upload your PDF, it will give you 6 bullet points from that PDF and you read it and you're done.
वाओ, अमेजिंग, दिस इज अमेजिंग।
Yeah.
You have to get ahead of this curve, this AI curve.
So you have to think outside the box and ahead. I know, like even in Pakistan, you have internet, your vision.
Yeah.
वो असल में 5 साल
Ahmed, we cannot hear you.
हाँ अच्छा, तो मैं कह रहा था कि जितनों को मैं देख रहा हूँ या जो भी लोग तैयारी कर रहे हैं वो तो फिजिकल ही उन्होंने फर्स्ट एड ली हुई है, और पीडीएफ में मुझे नहीं लगता कि कोई होगा जो कर रहा है। क्योंकि देखें 5 साल हम पढ़ते हैं, सारी फिजिकल बुक्स ही पढ़ते हैं और उसी में लगे रहते हैं। और एक और भी मेन जो मसला है इसमें कि बाय द एंड ऑफ टाइम जब आप अपीयर होने वाले हैं अपने पेपर के लिए, स्टेप 1 के लिए, तो फिर यू नीड टू रिवाइज दोज थिंग्स इन 15 दिन और इन 20 डेज, जितना भी टाइम हो। तो उस टाइम फिर अगर कोई फिजिकल बुक हो तो आई गेस दैट्स इजी, और अगर पीडीएफ हो तो वो फिर कैसे मैनेज होगा?
So उसका आप ये तरीका करो कि आपने अगर अपने रॉन्ग क्वेश्चंस के फ्लैश कार्ड्स बनाए हुए हैं एंकी में, ठीक है, आप वो उसको बार बार पढ़ोगे, वो रॉन्ग क्वेश्चंस के कॉन्सेप्ट्स ठीक हो जाएंगे आपके, ठीक है? तो जो राइट आपने क्वेश्चन किया
उसको
हाइपरनेट्रीमिया का ऐसे, वो तो आपको आता है कॉन्सेप्ट। बिगेस्ट मिस्टेक लोग ये करते हैं, लोग सेम कॉन्सेप्ट को 20 टाइम्स पढ़ते हैं जो उनको ऑलरेडी आता है, लेकिन उसको 20 टाइम्स नहीं पढ़ते जिसकी वो मिस्टेक करते हैं।
हाँ, नहीं नहीं, ये पूरा कॉन्सेप्ट बदलना पड़ेगा अहमद आपको। ये पूरा
हाँ जी, वो
फलसफा ही बदलना
ठीक है।
पड़ेगा। ये नहीं है वो प्रॉफ का 2 महीने का स्प्रिंट कि आप एकदम 2 महीने में जल्दी से किताब पढ़ लेंगे और वही जाके एससीक्यूज और एमसीक्यूज में रिगर्जिटेट कर देंगे अपने प्रॉफ के अंदर। ऐसे नहीं होगा। मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, आखिरी रात या आखिरी 10 दिन की पढ़ाई, कोई आपका स्कोर 1 पॉइंट भी ऊपर या नीचे नहीं कर सकती।
सही कहा हसन ने, बिल्कुल।
मैं ये आपको लिख के दे सकता हूँ, अगर कोई बंदा ये मुझे कहे कि मैंने यूएसएम में ली आखिरी 15 दिन में जल्दी जल्दी जल्दी, क्योंकि मैंने सारी चीजें लिखी हुई थी यू वर्ल्ड में, मैंने जल्दी जल्दी पढ़ ली थी और मैं वहां जाके दे आया, ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता।
लेकिन
ये 1-1.5 घंटे का एग्जाम नहीं है, ये 8-9 घंटे की स्प्रिंट लगेगी। वो आपके अंदर से खंगाल खंगाल के निकाल लेंगे जो आपको आता है, और जो आपको नहीं आता वो आपको नहीं आता, आप नहीं कर सकते। ये ऐसा नहीं है एग्जाम, इट्स नॉट दैट सॉर्ट ऑफ एन एग्जाम जिसमें आप अपने प्रॉफ के मेथड्स लगाएंगे, इस तरह नहीं होगा।
सही सही, बहुत अच्छा एक्सप्लेन किया भाई, थैंक यू।
क्वेश्चन टेकिंग स्किल्स जो है ना, वो लोगों को सिखाई नहीं जाती। लोग क्या करते हैं, यूं ही क्वेश्चन आया, ऑप्शन सी को क्लिक किया, बस मूव किया। दैट्स नॉट द वे। आपको ये सोचना है ऑप्शन ए, बी, डी और ई क्यों रॉन्ग है, उसकी आपको रीजन आनी चाहिए। आपको पता है सी राइट है, लेकिन आप में कॉन्फिडेंस तब आएगा कि बाकी ऑप्शन क्यों रॉन्ग है।
और कोई
एग्जैक्टली।
सवाल? Hassan Malik, Adi, Bilal Masood, Fatma, Hamza Majid, Ehsan Rizwan. मोहम्मद वकास ने एक मैसेज किया। यासिर आपसे एक सवाल किया है मोहित ने। If someone has good scores past OET but is unable to get USCE before September because of high visa rejection rate, मतलब rejection हो गई है आपकी, are there any alternatives which one can opt for?
I think online research is one alternative to build your CV. Other is gonna be, like we said earlier, to do experience with someone who is US trained, for example, Dr. Wasimuddin, right? There's so many other people in US. अगर आप शिफा में जाएंगे बहुत ज्यादा डॉक्टर यूएस ट्रेन है जो पाकिस्तान में जाके काम करते हैं। अगर आप और काफी ज्यादा इस तरह के इंस्टीट्यूट्स हैं जहाँ पे यूएस ट्रेन फिजिशियंस जो है पाकिस्तान में जाके काम कर रहे हैं because they want to serve their country. You can rotate with them.
और वकास ने मुझे कहा है कि अगर किसी ने FCPS मेडिसिन किया है तो उसको इंटरनल मेडिसिन में मैच करने में हेल्प होगी। आपका क्या एक्सपीरियंस है यासिर?
So I
मेरा
think
एक्सपीरियंस
it does matter if you did it. I mean, it's gonna be helpful because वो देखेंगे कि आप already training हुई है आपकी medicine में, you are a little bit ahead of the game, ठीक है? लेकिन it's debatable. It will not gonna set you apart too much. Definitely, it does add based on your experience. लेकिन अगर आपका MRCP है, तो I personally know a couple of hospitals, for example, Lincoln Hospital. They really like people who are MRCP.
Really? Oh.
They really
Good.
like. They actually wrote it on their website. People who are
नहीं, वाकई? Oh my God.
they really like people who are MRCP. So MRCP is considered an additional degree, and like they give you a little bit more edge, you know, when they select the people.
अच्छा, yeah, I had no idea.
I think we're gonna end the session here.
I think this was great. I mean, amazing. I learned so much.
Seeing you, Hassan, after a while. So
It was very informative by both आप लोगों का बहुत शुक्रिया।
I'm gonna
काफी
send this
पता चला।
video. I'm gonna send this video to Ali also, and then he gonna edit and put a hospital logo and WMC logo and make it like a little bit more official, and then we're gonna upload it also on them.
बहुत बहुत अच्छा लगा यासिर. It was really nice, and I think ये responsibility जो है ना, you can just ये आप ही का stamina है. This is a big responsibility. This is really. I think you guys should feel lucky that you have somebody like Yasir who is really, I mean, मैं अभी भी obviously किताबें पढ़ता हूँ. For the people, I have my little library और मैं उस तरह का traditional, but I think you at this day and age you need a guy like Yasir to tell you how things are moving in the world, and how to do research, how to get accomplished in research, because that is a big thing in US. I mean, I know आप सारों ने community medicine की research की हुई है. We're not talking about that. He's talking about some real research.
And you always have to think ahead of the game. Like, for example, I'm doing masters. मैंने अपने masters के अभी जो next 6 modules रखे हैं वो मैंने advanced statistics and clinical trial रखा है. क्योंकि अगर मुझे basic statistics already आती है, it will not gonna help me grow.
Yeah.
At this point, I need to write the grants. There's F grants, R grants, K1 grants. There's so many grants at fellow or resident level. So the sooner I would get into NIH grants, then I can go to the industries and ask for industrial grants. And then I can go into innovation. Let's suppose I make some catheter or some like new device by experimenting something. Obviously, I'm going to have financial benefit also. Otherwise, you're going to be just doing 9 to 5 job and you're going to be getting the package which you're getting. So, I mean, there's a lot of benefits, financial benefits. People will know you, you will grow academically, you will be head of a big organization or a big center. So it's your choice at the end of the day. You want to build your name and you want to be at a center where you are head or chief of your service, and then you can help so many juniors. Or if you want to do just private practice and just focus on money. So
Yeah.
so that's what mostly, unfortunately, when people from Pakistan, mostly they do into private. Very few go into academics, right, Hassan?
Yeah, no, that's true. Very few, because the upfront hit on money is huge.
Huge.
Uh,
It's like
and-
losing $300,000.
Yeah, the upfront hit is huge on the money, and sometimes it is not 300. Yasir, I'm telling you, the upfront hit is in interventional cardiology. It's sometimes approaches $600.
Yeah, 500.
You know, it can uh, make a guy like Safi go into private practice.
Yeah. So for example, like, imagine you are losing $500,000 just for the sake of being a director of some organization, so that you can help your community, so that you can build your name and you can bring your community and grow all together. That
Yeah.
takes a lot of dedication, trust me, guys.
Yeah, it is a lot of dedication. So we're here to sell you a dream. It's your choice, you want to get into it or not. But yeah, and then later on you can think about academia versus private versus industry versus a hybrid, which is a little rarity but still exists. But this is where everything starts. I think बड़ा मुझे तो बहुत मजा आया. It was a very nice
Yeah.
conversation, and I really like the participation as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're gonna do monthly sessions like this, where we will be giving you guys monthly CME credits and certifications also. The whole point is like our applicants should be very, very strong in their CVs, and that's why we are here. So we want to support our college, inshallah.
Okay, Yasir, I'm gonna take off. All right, guys.
We're gonna end the meeting. Assalamu alaikum.